Lisa Morgan wiped the grease from her hands with an old rag and stepped back from the engine core. The humming sound that had been bothering her for 3 days was finally gone. She had found the problem in a small coupling that everyone else had missed. The Aurora Dawn was an old ship, but she knew every bolt and wire in her belly. "Nice work, Lisa," said Captain Ben Taylor as he walked into the engine room. "Kate told me you fixed that noise issue." Lisa nodded and picked up her tools. "Just a loose connection." "Nothing serious." Ben watched her work. Lisa had been on his crew for 8 years, and she was the best engineer he had ever seen. She could fix anything and somehow always knew what was wrong before the computers did. She was quiet and kept to herself, but she was reliable. That was worth more than gold in space. "You know, Lisa, I keep thinking you're wasted down here," Ben said. "With your skills, you could be running engineering on any military ship. Hell, you could probably captain your own vessel." Lisa's hands stopped moving for just a moment. "I'm happy here, Ben. The Aurora Dawn is a good ship with good people." Ben smiled. "Well, we're lucky to have you. Take a break. Kate wants to go over the maintenance schedule with you later." After Ben left, Lisa sat down on a tool crate and stared at the engine. She had told the truth about being happy here. The Aurora Dawn carried cargo between colonies and never got into trouble. The crew was small and friendly. Nobody asked too many questions about her past. It was exactly what she needed, but sometimes at night when she couldn't sleep, Lisa would stand in the observation deck and look out at the stars. She would remember another life when she flew between those stars in a fighter ship, when her hands controlled weapons instead of wrenches. When people called her Ghost instead of Lisa the engineer, that life was over now. It had to be chief engineer. Kate Sullivan found Lisa in the cargo bay checking the environmental seals. Kate was a good woman in her 50s who had been working on ships since she was 20. She had taught Lisa everything about civilian engineering when she first came aboard. "The compression readings are off in Section 12, Kate said, looking at her tablet. "Think you can take a look?" "Already on it," Lisa said, pointing to her scanner. "Microfracture in the seal housing. I can have it fixed in an hour," Kate laughed. "You know, sometimes I think you can see through these walls." "How? Do you always know what's wrong?" Lisa shrugged. "Just experience, I guess." It wasn't experience. It was 8 years of military training that had taught her to read every system on a ship. Fighter pilots had to know their vessels completely because in combat there was no time to run diagnostics. You felt the ship through your hands and heard problems in the engine's voice. Those skills worked just as well on civilian vessels. "Lisa, can I ask you something?" Kate said carefully. Lisa looked up from her scanner. Kate had never pried into her past before. "Where did you learn to work on ships? I mean, you're good. Really good. Better than most military engineers I've known." "I worked on a mining station before this," Lisa said. It wasn't exactly a lie. She had spent 6 months on a mining platform after leaving the military. "They had old equipment that broke down a lot?" Kate nodded, but Lisa could see she wasn't completely satisfied with the answer. Smart women like Kate probably had questions about why someone with Lisa's skills would choose to work on a cargo hauler instead of a military vessel or a luxury liner. But Kate was also smart enough not to push too hard. Navigation Officer Ryan Brooks was young and enthusiastic about everything. He had joined the crew 2 years ago, fresh out of academy, and still believed space travel was the most exciting thing in the universe. Lisa liked him because he reminded her of herself when she was young and optimistic. "Hey, Lisa," Ryan said, bouncing into the engine room. "Want to see something cool?" Lisa followed him to the navigation station where he pulled up a star chart. "Look at this route I plotted to Kepler Station. If we swing by the Vega system, we can save almost 6 hours. Lisa studied the chart and frowned. "That takes us through the neutral zone." "Technically, yes, but it's been quiet there for months. No pirate activity, no military patrols. It's perfectly safe." Lisa shook her head. "Pirates don't advertise their presence, Ryan, and the neutral zone is neutral for a reason. Too many hiding spots." Come on, Lisa, you sound like my grandmother. Live a little. Lisa looked at the young man's eager face and felt old. When she was his age, she would have taken the dangerous route just for the thrill, but she had learned that thrills could get people killed. The safe route is fine, Ryan. We're not in a race. Ryan sighed but changed the navigation plot. Sometimes I think you know more about space travel than you let on. You always seem to know which routes to avoid. Lisa's heart skipped a beat. Just common sense, but it wasn't common sense. It was classified knowledge of pirate movements and military patrol patterns that she had learned during her years in the Defense Force, information that a civilian engineer shouldn't have. That evening, Lisa sat in her small quarters and looked at the picture on her desk. It showed 5 young pilots in military uniforms standing in front of a fighter ship. She was in the center, smiling and proud. The others were dead now. Killed on a mission that wasn't supposed to happen. She picked up the picture and traced her finger over the faces. Tommy Rodriguez, who could make anyone laugh. Sarah Kim, who was the best shot in the squadron. Mike Stevens, who played guitar and sang old Earth songs. Jenny Walsh, who collected rocks from every planet they visited, all gone because of one night 8 years ago, when everything went wrong. Lisa put the picture away and got ready for bed. Tomorrow would be another day of fixing things and pretending to be someone she wasn't. Another day of hiding from the ghost of Lieutenant Commander Lisa Morgan, who had once been the most feared pilot in the Earth Defense Force. But as she drifted off to sleep, something nagged at her mind. The engine readings from today had shown unusual patterns, almost like someone was using active sensors to track them. In the morning, she would need to check those readings again. She told herself it was probably nothing, just her old paranoia, making her see threats that weren't there. But deep down, Lisa knew that her peaceful life was about to end. The Aurora Dawn flew on through the night, carrying her crew toward a destiny none of them could imagine. Lisa was running diagnostics on the main engine when the proximity alarm started screaming. She had been checking those strange sensor readings from yesterday, and now she knew why they had seemed familiar. Someone had been tracking them with military-grade equipment. "All hands to stations," Captain Ben Taylor's voice echoed through the ship's communication system. "We have unknown vessels approaching." Lisa dropped her tools and ran to the bridge. Through the main view screen, she could see 3 ships emerging from hyperspace. They were unlike anything in human space. The hulls looked organic, like they were grown instead of built. Strange lights pulsed along their surfaces in patterns. That hurt to look at directly. "What are they?" whispered Ryan Brooks from his navigation station. "I don't know," Ben said, his voice tight with worry. "They're not responding to our hails." Lisa studied the alien ships and felt ice in her veins. She had seen vessels like these before, 8 years ago, on a classified mission that had gone horribly wrong. The mission that had destroyed her squad and forced her into hiding. "Captain," Kate Sullivan called from the engineering station. "I'm reading massive energy signatures from those ships. Their weapons are more powerful than anything we have." More ships were appearing now. Lisa counted at least a dozen alien vessels, surrounding not just the Aurora Dawn, but several other human ships that had been caught in the same shipping lane. A passenger liner, 2 cargo haulers, and what looked like a small research vessel. "They're using containment fields," Lisa said without thinking. "We can't jump to hyperspace." Everyone turned to look at her. Ben frowned. "How do you know that?" Lisa realized her mistake. A civilian engineer wouldn't recognize military containment technology. The engine readings show we can't engage the hyperspace drive." Before Ben could ask more questions, the ship's communication system crackled to life. The sound that came through was unlike anything human. Clicking and chittering noises that made everyone's skin crawl. The universal translator struggled to make sense of it. "Attention, inferior beings," the translation finally came through in a cold mechanical voice. "You will submit to evaluation. Resistance brings extinction." The bridge fell silent except for the hum of the ship's systems. Lisa felt her hands shake as memories of that night 8 years ago came flooding back. The research station, the screams, the friends who had died. "This is Captain Ben Taylor of the civilian transport Aurora Dawn," Ben said into the communication system. "We are peaceful traders. We mean no harm." The alien response was immediate. "Peaceful intent is irrelevant. Your species will be judged, worthy of existence or eliminated. Prepare for testing." One of the alien ships moved closer to the Aurora Dawn. Lisa could see details now that made her stomach turn. The hull wasn't just organic looking, it was actually alive. Breathing, parts of it moved like muscle tissue under skin. "Captain," Ryan's voice was barely a whisper. "The other ships in our area are reporting the same message. Everyone's been captured." Lisa closed her eyes and tried to think. These were Zephyrians. She was sure of it now. The same species that had attacked the research station where she had been stationed 8 years ago? The same aliens who had killed her friends and destroyed her old life. "The first test will begin in 12 hours, the alien voice continued. "Each group of vessels will select their most skilled warrior pilot. This pilot will engage our champion in single combat. If your pilot wins, your species will be judged worthy of continued existence. If our champion wins, your species will be eliminated." Ben turned to his crew with desperation in his eyes. "A pilot? We're a cargo ship. None of us are military." Kate looked at her hands. "I can barely fly a shuttle." "Ryan's our best pilot, and he's only qualified for civilian navigation." Ryan nodded miserably. "I've never even been in a fighter ship. I wouldn't last 10 seconds in combat." Lisa felt the weight of their stares. She wanted to help them, but revealing her identity would put her at risk. The military was still looking for her. If they found out where she was, she would face court-martial for desertion and treason. "Maybe we can contact the other ships," Kate suggested. "See if any of them have qualified pilots." Ryan worked at his console. "I'm getting responses from the other vessels. The passenger liner has a retired Navy pilot, but he's 70 years old and hasn't flown in 20 years. The research ship has some academy graduates, but no combat experience." "What about the cargo haulers?" Ben asked. "One of them has a former military pilot, but she's been grounded for medical reasons. The other ship doesn't have anyone with military training." Lisa watched the alien ships through the view screen. They moved with predatory grace like sharks circling their prey. She knew exactly what they were capable of. During the attack on the research station, she had seen them destroy military fighters with ease. "There has to be someone," Ben said desperately. "We can't just give up." Lisa felt torn between her need to stay hidden and her responsibility to these people who had become her family. She had been running for 8 years, but maybe it was time to stop running. "The testing will determine not just your worthiness," the alien voice announced, "but your place in the galactic community. Prove your species has value and you will be welcomed among the stars. Fail, and you will be remembered only as another failed experiment." Lisa realized this wasn't just about survival. This was about humanity's future in space. If they failed this test, every human colony would be wiped out. Earth itself might be destroyed. "I need to check something in the engine room," Lisa said quietly. She left the bridge and made her way through the ship's corridors, in her quarters. She opened a locked drawer and pulled out a small device. It was a military communicator, one she had kept hidden for 8 years. With shaking hands, she activated it and sent a coded message to her old contacts. The response came back within minutes. The information she needed was encoded in the reply. The Zephyrians had been testing species across the galaxy for centuries. They were looking for races that could match their warriors in combat. Most species failed and were eliminated, but a few had succeeded. Those that proved themselves were given advanced technology and welcomed into a galactic alliance. The test was harsh, but it was also an opportunity. Lisa deactivated the communicator and sat on her bed. She stared at the picture of her old squad and made her decision. She couldn't let humanity fail because she was afraid of facing her past. She stood up and walked back to the bridge. The crew was still discussing their hopeless situation when she entered. "Captain," Lisa said, her voice steady despite the fear in her heart, "I need to tell you something about who I really am." The bridge fell silent as Lisa stood in the doorway. Captain Ben Taylor looked up from his console where he had been trying to contact the other ships. Kate Sullivan stopped working on her damage assessments. Ryan Brooks turned away from his navigation station. They all sensed that something important was about to happen. "Lisa," Ben said carefully, "what do you need to tell us?" Lisa took a deep breath. After 8 years of hiding, the words felt strange in her mouth. "My name is Lieutenant Commander Lisa Morgan, Earth Defense Force. I've been hiding on this ship for 8 years. The silence stretched on for what felt like forever. Ryan was the first to speak. "You're military?" "I was," Lisa said. "I was a fighter pilot, a very good one." Kate stared at her friend with wide eyes. "Lisa, what are you saying?" "I'm saying I can fly against their champion. I'm probably the most qualified pilot in this entire sector." Ben stood up slowly. "Lisa, I need you to explain this, all of it," Lisa nodded. She had known this moment would come eventually. "Sit down. This is going to take a while." They gathered around the small conference table near the back of the bridge. Lisa looked at each of their faces. These people had been her family for 8 years. They deserved the truth. "I was born on Mars Colony," Lisa began. "Joined the Defense Force when I was 18. I was good at flying, really good. By the time I was 25, I was leading my own squadron." "What was your call sign?" Ben asked. He had been military once himself, years ago. "Ghost," Lisa said quietly. Ryan's tablet fell from his hands and clattered to the floor. "Ghost? You're the ghost of Titan?" Lisa nodded. "You've heard of me?" "Heard. Of you? You're a legend. Every pilot in the academy studies your tactics. You saved 10,000 colonists when the pirates attacked Titan Station." Ben was staring at Lisa with new eyes. "The ghost. I remember reading about you in the military. Reports. You had more confirmed kills than any pilot in the Defense Force. 37 confirmed," Lisa said. "But that's not why I'm here." Kate leaned forward. "What happened? Why are you hiding?" Lisa's hands clenched into fists on the table. 8 years ago, I was stationed at a research facility called Deep Space Station 7. It was classified. We were studying alien technology that had been recovered from crashed ships. "Alien technology?" Ryan whispered. "The same aliens that are out there right now," Lisa said, pointing toward the view screen. "Zephyrians. We had been finding their wrecked ships for years. Command wanted to understand their weapons and propulsion systems." Ben frowned. "That doesn't sound like something that would force you into hiding." "It wasn't supposed to be," Lisa said. "But someone in command was selling information to the Zephyrians. They knew about our research. They knew exactly when to attack." Lisa closed her eyes, remembering that terrible night. "I was on patrol when they hit the station. By the time I got back, half the facility was destroyed. My squadron went in to help with the evacuation." "What happened to your squadron?" Kate asked gently. "They died," Lisa said simply. "All of them. Tommy Rodriguez, Sarah Kim, Mike Stevens, Jenny Walsh, the 4 best pilots I ever flew with. They died because someone betrayed us." The bridge was quiet except for the hum of the ship's systems. Lisa could see the pain in her friend's eyes as they understood what she had been carrying for 8 years. "I tried to report what happened," Lisa continued. "But the investigation was classified. They said it was just bad luck, a random attack. But I knew better. I had seen the attack patterns. The Zephyrians knew exactly where our weak points were. So you ran," Ben said. "I tried to do it the right way first," Lisa said. "I went to my commanding officer. Then his commanding officer. I went all the way up the chain of command. But every door I knocked on got slammed in my face." Ryan looked confused. "Why would command cover up a betrayal?" "Because the betrayal went all the way to the top," Lisa said. "I finally figured out that Admiral Henderson himself was involved. He was selling our research to the Zephyrians in exchange for their technology." Kate gasped. "Admiral Henderson? He's the head of Defense Command." "He was then too," Lisa said. "And he knew I was getting close to the truth. So he had me transferred to a combat zone where I was supposed to die in battle. Make it look like an accident. But you didn't die," Ben said. "No, I deserted instead. I took my fighter and disappeared. I've been running ever since. Lisa looked around the table at her friends. I know this is a lot to take in. I know you probably have questions about why I didn't trust you with this before. We understand, Kate said softly. You were protecting yourself, and probably protecting us too. If the military had found me, anyone who helped me would have been charged with harboring a deserter, Lisa said. I couldn't put you at risk. Ryan was reading something on his tablet. Lisa, according to this, you're still listed as missing in action. There's a standing order for any Defense Force personnel who encounters you to report your location immediately. That's why I can't just contact the military and ask for help, Lisa said. Even if they sent fighters to help us, I'd be arrested the moment they arrived. Ben stood up and walked to the view screen. The alien ships were still out there, waiting for humanity's response to their challenge. So what do we do now? Now, I get back in a fighter and do what I was trained to do, Lisa said. I protect innocent people from threats they can't handle themselves. But Lisa, Kate said, you haven't flown in 8 years. Are you sure you can still? Flying is like riding? A bicycle, Lisa interrupted. You never really forget. And I've been keeping myself in shape. I've been running simulations on my personal computer every night for 8 years. Simulations? Ryan asked. Combat scenarios. I've been preparing for this day even though I hoped it would never come. Ben turned back to face the group. The alien said we have 12 hours to choose our pilot. How do we get you a fighter? They'll provide one, Lisa said. That's how these tests work. Both sides fight with equivalent equipment. It's about skill, not technology. Kate reached across the table and took Lisa's hand. Are you sure about this? You could be killed, Lisa squeezed her friend's hand. Kate, if I don't try, we all die anyway. Everyone on every human world dies. I can't live with that. Then we support you, Ben said firmly, whatever you need. Lisa stood up and looked at the people who had been her family for 8 years. I need you to trust me. And I need you too? Forgive me for lying to you for so long. There's nothing to forgive, Ryan said. You were protecting yourself and us. And now you're protecting all of humanity, Kate added. Lisa nodded. I guess it's time for the ghost to fly again. The alien ship that delivered the fighter was smaller than the others, but no less frightening. Its biomechanical hull opened like a flower, revealing a sleek human-built interceptor inside. Lisa watched from the Aurora Dawn's cargo bay as the fighter was carefully placed on the deck by invisible force fields. It's beautiful, Ryan whispered, staring at the ship. Lisa nodded. The fighter was a Mark 7 interceptor, the same model she had flown during her last year in the Defense Force. Its dark blue hull gleamed under the cargo bay lights. Twin plasma cannons were mounted on the wings, and she could see the familiar outline of the missile ports. The Zephyrians are being fair about this, Ben said. That's current military technology. They always are, Lisa replied. They want to test our skills, not our equipment. Kate was running her scanner over the fighter systems. Everything checks out. Weapons, shields, life support, it's in perfect condition. Lisa walked slowly around the ship, her hands trailing along the hull. 8 years. 8 years since she had sat in a fighter cockpit. 8 years since she had felt the thrill of flying free among the stars. Are you ready for this? Ben asked quietly. Lisa looked at her captain and friend. I have to be. The fighter's canopy opened with a soft hiss. Lisa climbed the short ladder and settled into the pilot's seat. The familiar feel of the controls under her hands brought back a flood of memories. Good memories this time. The joy of flight, the satisfaction of mastering a difficult maneuver, the pride of protecting innocent people. How does it feel? Kate called from below. Like coming home, Lisa said honestly. She began running through the pre-flight checklist. Her hands moved automatically, muscle memory taking over after all these years. Power systems online, weapons systems armed, navigation computer synced with the ship's main computer. Everything was exactly as she remembered. Lisa, Ryan said, climbing up beside the cockpit, I downloaded the latest tactical data on Zephyrian fighters. Want to take a look? Lisa studied the information on Ryan's tablet. The enemy ship was called a Talon-class interceptor. It was biomechanical like all Zephyrian technology, grown rather than built. The hull could change shape during flight, making it extremely maneuverable. The weapons were powered by the pilot's own life force, making them incredibly powerful but also draining. The pilot will be what they call a Talon leader, Lisa read. Their best warriors. This one has never lost a combat trial. That's supposed to make me feel better? Lisa asked with a weak smile. Look at the technical specifications, Ryan said. The biomechanical systems make their ship faster and more maneuverable than ours, but they have weaknesses too. Lisa studied the data more carefully. The Zephyrian fighter relied on instinct and biological adaptation. It was incredibly effective but also predictable in certain situations. Human technology might be less advanced, but human creativity and tactical thinking could be significant advantages. They've never fought a human pilot before, Lisa realized. They don't know our tactics. Exactly, Ryan said. You'll be facing something they've never seen. Kate appeared at the other side of the cockpit. I've been working on the fighter systems. I can give you a small advantage. She showed Lisa a device she had attached to the fighter's computer. This will let me monitor your ship's status from here. If something goes wrong, I might be able to help you fix it remotely. Lisa smiled at her friend. Kate, that's brilliant. But will it work during combat? It should. The signal is encrypted and hidden in the normal communication channels. The aliens shouldn't detect it. Ben climbed up to join them. Lisa, I want you to know that whatever happens out there, we're proud of you. You've already done more than anyone could ask. This isn't just about us, Lisa said. It's about every human in the galaxy. If I lose, they all die. Then don't lose, Ben said simply. Lisa laughed despite her nervousness. I'll try my best. The alien communication system crackled to life. Human pilot, report to the combat arena. The trial will begin in 1 hour. Lisa looked at her friends. These people had become her family over 8 years. They had accepted her lies and forgiven her deception. Now they were trusting her with their lives and the lives of everyone they had ever known. I need to tell you something, Lisa said. In case I don't make it back. Don't talk like that, Kate said firmly. I have to, Lisa insisted. There's a data chip hidden in my quarters. It contains everything I know about the betrayal 8 years ago. Names, dates, evidence. If something happens to me, make sure it gets to the right people. Ben nodded solemnly. We will. And Kate, Lisa continued, you've been like a sister to me. Thank you for teaching me so much about engineering. It kept me sane during the worst times. Kate's eyes filled with tears. You taught me things too, about courage and dedication. Ryan, Lisa said, never lose that enthusiasm. The galaxy needs people who still believe in wonder and adventure. Ryan wiped his eyes. I'll remember. And Ben, Lisa said finally, you gave me a home when I had nowhere else to go. You asked no questions and demanded no explanations. That's the kind of leadership the galaxy needs. Ben squeezed her shoulder. You've earned your place here, Lisa, whatever your real name is. Lisa sealed the fighter's canopy and began the startup sequence. The engines came to life with a familiar whine that made her heart race. Through the cockpit she could see her friends backing away to a safe distance. Aurora Dawn, this is Ghost requesting permission to launch, she said into the communication. System, permission granted, Ghost, Ben replied. Give them hell. The cargo bay doors opened, revealing the star-filled darkness of space. Lisa felt the old excitement building in her chest. This was what she had been born to do. This was who she really was. She engaged the engines and felt the fighter lift off the deck. The sensation of acceleration pressed her back into her seat. As she flew out of the cargo bay and into open space, the combat arena was a massive construct floating in the void. Its walls were made of pure energy, creating a cage of light around a spherical space several kilometers across. Lisa could see the other human ships arranged outside the arena, their crews watching and waiting. On the far side of the arena, the Zephyrian fighter was already waiting. It looked alive, its hull pulsing with bioluminescent patterns. Lisa had fought these ships before, but never in single combat. Never with so much at stake. Human pilot, the alien voice said over the communication system. You will face Talon Leader Kresh, champion of the Zephyrian fleet. Are you prepared? Lisa checked her weapons one final time. I'm ready. Then let the trial begin. The arenas. Walls solidified, trapping both fighters inside. Lisa felt the familiar calm that had made her legendary settle over her mind. She was no longer the hidden engineer. She was Ghost, and she was going to remind the galaxy why humans deserved their place among the stars. The Zephyrian fighter moved like a living creature as it circled the arena. Lisa watched its biomechanical hull shift and flow, changing shape as it prepared for combat. The alien pilot's ship was beautiful in a terrifying way, its bioluminescent patterns pulsing with deadly purpose. Beginning combat trial, the arena's computer announced. Victory conditions: disable or destroy the enemy fighter. Trial ends when one pilot can no longer continue. Lisa gripped her controls and felt the familiar weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. Every human life in the galaxy depended on what happened in the next few minutes. The Zephyrian ship struck first, launching itself across the arena at incredible speed. Its plasma weapons fired streams of energy that bent and curved through space like living things. Lisa rolled her fighter to the left, feeling the heat wash over her hull as the alien fire passed inches away. Too close, she muttered, bringing her own weapons to bear. She fired a burst from her plasma cannons, but the Zephyrian ship simply flowed around the incoming fire like water. Its hull rippled and changed shape, making it nearly impossible to target effectively. Lisa had studied the technical reports, but seeing the alien fighter in action was different. It didn't fly like a machine. It moved like a predator, hunting its prey with natural grace and deadly instinct. The second exchange nearly ended the fight. Before it really began, the Zephyrian pilot fired a spread of bioplasma missiles that split apart and came at Lisa from 6 different directions. She dove toward the arena floor. Using her fighter's superior acceleration to stay ahead of the pursuing weapons, the missiles exploded behind her, filling the arena with clouds of burning energy. Lisa used the confusion to reverse course, climbing back toward her opponent while hidden in the debris field. Come on, Ghost, she whispered to herself. Remember who you are. She found the Zephyrian fighter hovering near the center of the arena, its pilot apparently confident that the missiles had found their target. Lisa smiled grimly and lined up her shot. Her plasma cannons fired in perfect synchronization, sending twin beams of energy toward the alien ship. The Zephyrian pilot saw them coming and tried to dodge, but Lisa had anticipated the movement. Her second volley caught the enemy fighter's port wing, sending it spinning toward the arena wall, but the alien ship recovered quickly, its biomechanical systems healing the damage almost instantly. Lisa watched in amazement as the wing reformed, itself becoming stronger than before. Okay, she said. So you can fix yourself. Let's see how fast. Lisa began the dance she had perfected years ago during the war. She used her fighter's superior maneuverability to stay just out of reach while landing hit after hit on the alien ship. Each blast damaged the Zephyrian fighter, and each time it healed itself. But Lisa noticed that the healing was getting slower. The alien pilot was learning too. After several exchanges, it began to anticipate Lisa's movements. Its bioweapons adapted to her tactics, firing in patterns that forced her into increasingly dangerous positions. Lisa found herself pressed against the arena's energy walls as the Zephyrian ship unleashed a barrage of plasma fire. The barrier behind her crackled with energy, threatening to overload her shields if she got too close. Think, Lisa, she said to herself. What would Tommy do? Tommy Rodriguez had been her wingman for 3 years. He had taught her that sometimes the best defense was to do something completely unexpected, something that made no tactical sense. Lisa killed her engines and let her fighter drop toward the arena floor like a stone. The Zephyrian pilot, expecting her to try to escape upward, fired all its weapons at empty space. By the time it realized what had happened, Lisa was already moving again. She used the arena's artificial gravity to slingshot around the lower wall, building up speed as she climbed back toward her opponent. The Zephyrian ship tried to turn and face her, but its biomechanical systems couldn't adapt fast enough to her sudden change in direction. Lisa's missiles struck the alien fighter amidships, penetrating its hull and exploding inside. The Zephyrian ship convulsed as its biological systems tried to contain the damage. For a moment, Lisa thought she had won, but the alien pilot wasn't finished. With a sound like a scream that came through the communication system, the Zephyrian fighter began to change. Its hull split open, revealing weapons that Lisa had never seen before. The ship was literally tearing itself apart to access its most powerful systems. Bioplasma cannon charging. Kate's voice came through the hidden communication link. Lisa, that weapon will punch through your shields like they're not even there. Lisa saw the massive energy buildup in the alien ship's core. She had perhaps 10 seconds before it fired. 10 seconds to end this fight or watch humanity die. She thought about her friends on the Aurora Dawn, about Ben's quiet leadership and Kate's gentle wisdom, about Ryan's enthusiasm and hope for the future, about all the human colonies scattered across the galaxy, full of people who didn't even know their lives hung in the balance. For Tommy, she whispered. For Sarah and Mike and Jenny, for everyone. Lisa did something that violated every rule of space combat. She flew straight at the Zephyrian ship, directly into the path of its most powerful weapon. The alien pilot, programmed by millions of years of evolution to expect prey to run from predators, hesitated for just a fraction of a second. That hesitation was all Lisa needed. She fired everything she had, every weapon and every missile in a concentrated burst aimed at the exact center of the alien ship's exposed core. At the same time, she angled her fighter's deflector shields forward, turning them into a ram. The bioplasma cannon fired just as Lisa's fighter struck the Zephyrian ship. The alien weapon's energy beam passed harmlessly over her hull as she drove her fighter deep into the enemy's core systems. Her weapons fired at point-blank range, tearing through biomechanical organs that had never been designed to face such concentrated firepower. Both ships exploded in a burst of light that filled the arena. For a moment, the watching fleets couldn't see anything through the glare. When the light faded, only one fighter remained. Lisa's interceptor was badly damaged, its hull scarred and its weapons depleted, but it was still flying. The Zephyrian ship was gone, consumed by the explosion of its own bioplasma systems. Trial complete, the arena computer announced. Human victory. The alien fleet's response was immediate. Instead of anger or demands for revenge, they transmitted a message of profound respect. The Zephyrian commander's voice was different now, filled with something that might have been admiration. The human pilot has defeated our greatest champion. Through courage and tactical brilliance, the alien said. Your species has proven itself worthy not just of survival, but of honor. We extend an invitation to join the galactic community as equals. Lisa barely heard the words. Her fighter was dying around her, its systems failing one by one, but she had done it. Humanity would live. Kate's voice came through the communication link, thick with tears. Lisa, you did it. You saved everyone. Lisa smiled as her fighter limped back toward the Aurora Dawn. Just doing my job. As the alien ships prepared to depart, their commander sent one final message. The warrior known as Ghost will be remembered in our songs. Her courage honors not just her own species, but all who fight for those they protect. Lisa docked her damaged fighter in the cargo bay and climbed out to find her crew waiting. Ben stepped forward and saluted her, the highest honor he could. Kate and Ryan were crying with relief and joy. Welcome home, Ghost, Ben said. Lisa looked at the people who had been her family for 8 years and felt truly free for the first time since that terrible night, when everything had gone wrong. The past was finally behind her. The future belonged to humanity and the stars.